Right, welcome back. Got a new toy, well, two new toys actually. Front seat swivel and double seat swivel. Now these, on a 2017 Crafter or MAN, have a bloody fuse box under here and an absolute nightmare to try and get swivels for. And there's only one company who does it. And the problem they've got is, all the fuse gubbins, everything right, it's mounted inside here, so you can't really put a base on here and swivel it. And the design of the seat is you can't put a base on top of the box because it's not got a box, it's just like supports now, so you can't swivel the top part of it, so you have to swivel the whole seat. So with that, there's a company called R&J Camping Solutions. They're quite pricey for what they are. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of engineering gone into it, so you can appreciate, you know, why they charge the prices, and also there's nobody else doing it, you know what I mean? So you're kind of restricted in the market and that. You can't knock them for it really, because it's, like it says, a lot of research and development going into this. And they've also got the crash test certificates now. So you've got a crash test certificate for the double and one for the single as well, which, you know, is brilliant, and it shows you all the test reports and that, so that's quite good. They also send you like instructions as well, step-by-step guide, because there's a bit of modification on the double where you've got to cut a piece of the fuse box cover away, and then this plastic trim here, you've got to take that little lip out at the bottom on the inside, and then it should be straightforward. And then the single as well. But the problem I've got is, on mine, I've got the occupancy sensors and they're not really designed for the swivel. So I think what I'm going to do is, it's going to be a plan where you either, when you want to swivel it, just unplug that, swivel it, plug it back in again, or you can leave it out as long as you don't put the ignition on. Because the minute you put the ignition on, you'll flag up the warning on ECU and all that stuff, safe systems, and you'll end up with a fault on it then. So don't put ignition on if you're doing it that way. I go away tomorrow, like everything, I just do everything like last minute, and Mrs. pulling her hair out saying, why are you doing this today, Mike? Can't you just leave it? But you need double seats for camping. That's a problem we've had with this cab, right? Is because it's nice, yeah, all the back's done and that, but you've not got the area to sit down, and it's kind of restricted. So if you spin these around and get that span around, you basically just created like a living room really. I've also got to do a table as well, which I might take the table, knock the table up today if I get a chance in this video, and then because I need to notch it out with that B pillar, and then probably take the leg and everything when I go away. Like, I can just probably do that in an hour or so. Another one of them jobs in it. Just an hour of this. 2 days later. So I think I'll start with double first, because worst case scenario is if this takes me all day, then the single swivel will have to wait, that one. But we'll try and get it done, we'll see. We might have a job here what goes straight forward. Might do. As I was saying, that cable there, in the long run, I'm going to probably extend this piece off here and make a longer, you know, longer cable, so when it's actually swiveled, it gives it that enough room for it to rotate round, because at the minute now you kind of like, you've only got that bit spare. So let's get on with this. I'm going to digest these instructions and then we'll crack on. Packaged quite well. That'll be the base. This is our top section where our magic happens. The luminous green handle. So first step, I think we'll just get his seat out of the way. So it's cover off, and then you've got all usual bolts, same as my old video when I put the seats in. Two here, one at back, one there, far corner, and that one there. Not going to video that because you've seen me do it before. Just started lashing down now. Gotta love awnings. Best purchase that. So for this first step, and then we're going to cut the fuse box. But bear in mind that sits like that. So it's 58mm across the front, and then 70mm to the side there. So basically just cutting that little notch out, just to allow the seat base to fit. I use a multi-tool and just clean all edges up, but you can just use an hacksaw on it. So probably an hacksaw would probably clean a cut actually. And then that then goes back on there. I've watched this as well, this cable here. Not too sure where I'm going to route that yet. Let's see where the frame falls into it. So next step is to fit this on the lower one. It says get this off. It says one nylon washer to the bottom and one to the top with a spring washer, and then that'll be mounted like that. So a bolt to the bottom, nut to the top. There we go, that's a loose fit. I'll take all these corner things off now, protectors. That goes that way. I'm gonna have to move this bloody seat. That should go down there like that. This out on our carpet. Get that out to the road. And then it says reinstall all your old nuts and bolts. Knock all these in. Don't drop them, Jones. Might whip with a bit of tape on that just for grip them really, because they're a bit deep. Sound. So that's in place. Happy with that. Right, that's all them talked up to 45 now. So next step is get this rubber mat out roll for a start. Get the nylon disc, and then that goes on here with a bit of grease. So take that off. It says apply the grease liberally, both sides, but too much grease will hinder the movement. On there. On there, little blob here, little blob there. We'll stick that on. upside down, clean this shite off here. Then it says put a bit more grease on this side. Rain never stops, does it? Make sure you get it all around. Yeah. Make sure you got some blobs everywhere. Not too much, as I said. Wipe this grease off here. A little bit here. Just make sure the edges have got, make sure it spins out alright. Probably need a bit more on these here. Should make sure that edge has got some on. Yeah, do a good job that. Now, next step is fitting the top bit. So this one goes on there, like that. Then, get something like, you're supposed to tighten your nylon washer on there, the lock washer, and then your bolt. Right, it's got a 19 on the back end of that. Stick our nylock on. It says on instructions, tighten it down just so it's enough tension in it so you can feel them both just grip when you're doing it. So what I'm doing here is just making sure the plates are lined up and they should roughly fall into place. Get this. Watch our cable. Let's see if Jones's all's right. Right, so that's not fair bad. I tell you what, we're not bad at all here, pal. We're not bad at all. Right, so on here, this has been lowered down now. There's a bit of a gap in between both of these, and I'm not too sure whether that's by design or not. Do you know what I mean? Well, there's a bit of giving it there, so that must be a bit locking down a bit. Next step now, get the seat up in place and get it on here. It's just started lashing down again. So before we can fit this seat on here, we've got to trim this little plastic piece off here. So I'll just knock that off there. We've done about 10mm off it, just off the front that lip. That should pass over that end. Never stops raining in Wigan, does it? That is absolutely bouncing down. I need to get to the front of this but screw it down. So that seat's on there now. Next step on this one is basically get this handle and then lifting the whole seat mechanism up. Look at that. What? I'll tell you what, that's some good engineering that. Absolutely brilliant what they've done that. That's off to your R&J lad. Good design. Now for this one, we've got to make sure all the holes are lined up. And then we basically get a bit of hardware out of the bag. And these go under there. Like that. And I'll get an Allen key and we'll load them in. So there's two there. Back one to sort out and then make sure they're lined up on the other side. Get a bit of flex in the frame of the seat as well. So you might just have to like jiggle it a little bit, get a screwdriver or something to make sure them all lined up. I'm going to go this corner, far corner, get them two lined up, bring this one in and then that one. And then we'll do the middle one. And that should be it. So that's all our bolts knocked up, tightened up, 45 Newton meters. So I think what I'm going to do is see if I can swivel it. Oh shit. Headrest. Well, I made that look hard, but it weren't. That is absolutely brilliant what they've done with that. Got more space, get in. But that is the thing, that. Headrests. Should have thought on, could have had them cut down a little bit. You'll make square them off at top. Well and truly happy with that. Pretty much straightforward job, that one, to be honest with you. That went to a T to instructions. Couldn't simplify that anymore. Brilliant. And do you know what? It ain't that far off the floor either. It does raise it by about, I think it's about 60-70mm on top of that, which sounds quite a lot if you're a short ass. Right, single side now. Let's get that one done. Now they do say it's easier to swivel the single first and then do the double. But like I say, I've just done it now with the single in place and it works a treat, so let's get that one out. For single swivel seat, there's only one page of instructions here, so it looks quite straightforward. The only thing you're going to have an issue with is getting the connector block for the occupancy sensor on this one. But don't forget, on that one we disconnected it. So let's get this single one popped off. We're going to do the 4 bolts and the runners, chuck seat out at wear. There we are, by a single base. Like it says, a lot of engineering going into this as well. Really nice, well packaged, solid unit art. Do you know what, right? One of the YouTubers did a video not long back, and I think it was on some brackets for lights on a bonnet, and they put the question on the thumbnail, you know, are these really worth it? And I think they were like 250 quid. Just, I'm not joking, right? It was, say for example, a piece of flat bar, and the most it had was 3 bends in it. One a bit slightly angled, and it just basically fitted under your bonnet, and just so you could get like little lights on top of it, like laser lamps, whatever they call them. They were literally 6 inch, if that. And I put a comment on there saying, like, you know, that's an absolute rip-off. You could pretty much do that in your garage, powder coat it, bend it, and get it done. There's no research gone into that, apart from probably an hour, looking at bending a piece of shit metal up under the bonnet, finding where locating points are, and then knocking, you know, that as a template up, and that's it. That, 150 quid. There's probably 100 times more material into it. God knows how many man hours, research and development for that, and the structural work of it as well. That bracket was literally about that big. So in answer to that video, yeah, having your pants down with that. Anyway, rant over, let's get this one fitted. So for the front seat, you've got 4 spline bolts, which are these ones here with a funny head, and these just take a bit like that. But take out, I got these on Amazon, I'll put a link in the description for you. That's an M10 spline, you get all these in it, which is not bad really, quite handy for having, especially working up bands anyway. So that's all I'm done now. What I'm going to do is just going to work out where I'm going to chuck this out of where. Don't forget to take the bum sensor off, like I've just done. Right, so there's our base. You get your seat base, stick it on there, and it says stick it at front, then stick your old bolts back in. So it's quite a step like that. Ooh, just enough to clear that bloody handbrake. Basically just tighten it back up again. Move the swivel plate, you can actually get to 45 newton meters. So when the seat base comes, right, these things are pre-installed. Like a countersunk bolt with like a square nut, like a runner. And it says the front ones are shorter and the back ones are longer. So before I put this seat on that base and fasten this down, I'm going to undo the plug, the wires out of the plug. Basically just pull that pink clip out and then just get a thin screwdriver or something. You see the actual terminals there. There's 2 little fins on each one. Basically just push them fins down. And then you can get them out, and then you'll be able to get them wires through that hole, and then put the plug then back on the bottom. And it's always best just take a picture when you take them out, so you know, like green, brown, first one, brown, second one. So basically just 2 locating tabs on that. You've got to make sure they're in position on that one, and then our wire, we can just feed it straight into there. I've also just took one of the plastic pegs out, you know what, hold it to the seat, just to give it a bit of slack really. When you're spinning it, the cable's not going anywhere. And what I'll do is, I'll connect this first, so I don't forget. Cable's in. Purple piece cross, locks them tight. Put back on these, so small ones to the back. So basically, that has to be parallel, so you know your runner can run over the top of it. And if it's conky like that, you'll get jammed, or if it's not straight. So you can just get a screwdriver or something to stop it spinning, and tighten that up, make sure it's parallel. Right, so that's all 4 bolts on that chair now, swiveled, and it's on its maximum tilt now. For these, they make this put it in gear, lower handbrake, pop door in a little bit, make it a bit easier. Spin it round. And there we have it. 2 front swivel seats. It's like a living room. This is a bit of sight here, Kieran. Oh, yeah. Never ever see him come out, ever. Yeah, man. Come out of his man cave. So basically that just opened the area up a lot more now. It's just a lot better. And John's cleaning all his junk out. So we just need now the table going in there. That single was a lot easier going in. Double base in, single base in. Let's go and find a table leg, sort this out. Right, on that note, I'll see you on next one.